over, and I will say this was one of the best game weeks we've had so far in terms of stories, shocks, results, goals, drama, VAR. A lot has happened this weekend, so we're going to dive into each game and every event and give my thoughts and opinions. I will say, not every game is here. I've been kind of smart for two reasons. Now, the Monday night fixture is Fulham versus Chelsea, and we have Champions League starting on Tuesday, so I didn't want to wait until Tuesday to release this, because then by the time you see that Champions League would happen, it would have felt a bit outdated. So I thought, one, I just get this out on Monday for that reason, and also another side note, just because in case Chelsea lose, I don't have to talk about Chelsea again, and it's probably a good chance we've lost this game, but you guys would know by now. I'll probably put my thoughts, if you want it, about Chelsea and that game in the comments. I'll put them, I'll reply to a comment if you guys want to hear. But anyway, let's talk about the games that have happened, and let's begin with Aston Villa 6, Brighton 1. Ollie Watkins with a hat-trick, Bevis Stupinham with an own goal, Jacob Ramsey, Douglas Luiz and Ansu Fati all scored. Well, I mean, this was a result I don't think many people had on the cards. 6-1, insane from Villa. Ollie Watkins, full credit to him, a hat-trick. I believe that's actually his second hat-trick maybe this season. I think he's got one in the Conference League as well. Big credit to him. I have criticised him this season for not being clinical in front of goal, but this game he was fantastic, and you know, Ollie Watkins is one of those strikers where I've always said his overall game is absolutely fantastic. He can do the link-up play, he can do the hold-up play, he's good in the air, he's fast, he's strong, he's got good movement, he can run down the channel, he can dribble. It's just sometimes he can be a bit wasteful in front of goal. That's been my only problem with him. But when he's on it in front of goal, he's unstoppable, and he was unstoppable against Brighton on Saturday. Fantastic from him. Jacob Ramsey also scored a very nice goal. And yeah, Villa, what a performance. They were brilliant. Matty Cash, I thought, was excellent. Their midfield, I think, was the main reason they won this. The midfield just outclassed the Brighton midfield of Billy Gilmore and Jack Hinchelwood, who made his Premier League debut. Yeah, Louise McGinn, Zaniolo Kamala, these guys were absolutely terrific, especially McGinn. And I will say, Villa, their home form is a big problem for sides. I don't think many teams are going to get many points at Villa Park this season. It's a place where you really don't want to go. I believe they've won all their games at Villa Park this season, and it's been like 10 games since they've lost there. Emery has really built it into a fortress, and this is really good for them as they are climbing up the table, and if they can make Villa Park a big fortress and pick up points like they did last week away from home as well, then there's no reason why they can't finish in the top 6. So fantastic from Villa. From Brighton perspective, well, I thought Brighton were very naive, and this is maybe one of those where lessons need to be learned for De Zerbi. I said Villa Park is a cauldron, it's an absolute cauldron. We are fantastic there, no team wants to play there. So it was kind of baffling the lineup he put out, you know, chucking in Jack Hinchelwood, like him and Billy Gilmore, that's a pretty inexperienced midfield pairing. Played quite an attacking lineup, played Danny Welbeck as well. Like, I don't know, I feel like obviously De Zerbi's style is absolutely fantastic, but sometimes he needs to try and adapt it in those games to suit the opposition. Maybe just be a bit more cautious, because they were getting absolutely ripped up on the counter. Villa's pace on the counters was devastating, and I don't know what it is with Brighton, but these guys never lose normally. They're kind of like Man United. every time they lose, it's always got to be something embarrassing. Like, they got smacked up by West Ham this season. I remember them getting absolutely battered by Everton as well. These guys just never know how to lose normally. But yeah, an off day for Brighton. What a win though for Villa, and a big statement. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 4. Goals from Maguire, Saka, Martin Odegaard, Kai Havertz, and Ben White. A comfortable victory for Arsenal. No slip-ups from them. Kai Havertz got his first Arsenal goal. They gave him a penalty, and I thought that was really interesting. I think that really does show the sort of camaraderie between this Arsenal team. They are really, really a team, and they were so happy for Kai Havertz to get that goal. I mean, I thought in general he was okay, but I don't know. It was nice to see him get a goal. Arsenal, though, one thing I want to say about Arsenal, which I really, really do admire, is they never slip up really in these games. Like, a lot of teams will slip up away from home against a Bournemouth, but Arsenal, under Arteta especially now, they've become one of those teams where they're not going to lose this game. They get the job done as they should be. They should be beating Bournemouth. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but Arsenal should be winning the game, and they do that time and time again, so you have to respect it. And a fantastic result from them. A really good performance as well. Bournemouth didn't really do much. For Bournemouth though, it's tough. It's been a real tough start to the season for them. There were some positives to take from this game, but not a lot. And I think for Bournemouth, the thing is, I'm begging that they don't panic. I think they shouldn't panic, because I know they haven't won a game so far in the Prem, but from the performances and the games I've seen them play this season, they're gonna come. The points are going to come, and they've had a really tough run. They've played a lot of the big teams. They picked up some points here and there. They've played well in almost every game. I think this was maybe the only game of the season where they were by far and away the worst side. So I don't think they should panic and sack Iraola. I think he needs to be given time, because they've had a tough run and they've looked really good. So look, it's not an ideal result for Bournemouth, but it will come. The points will come. Everton 1, Luton 2. Goals from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dom Lockyer, and Colin Morris to give Luton a historic first ever victory. What a result for Luton, their first win in the Prem. First 3 points on the board, I believe. Yeah, that's the first win a newly promoted side has got this season. So, to be fair, I don't think many would have had Luton being the first one, getting the points on the board first win out of those promoted sides, but they've got the job done. I thought they were great in this game. Dom Lockyer from the corner, Colin Morris. This guy is, I think he's a Premier League level striker. I will say that. I think he is a Premier League level striker. I don't think many of their players are Premier League level, but Colin Morris early on in the season has proven that he can score in the Prem. And what a performance by Luton. I'll say Bournemouth kind of are similar to Luton in terms of Luton. Their performances up until this point have actually been pretty decent. They just haven't got the points on the board due to lack of quality, individual errors, stuff like that. But then it finally came in this game. I feel like that's a similar thing with Bournemouth that will happen. And yeah, what a victory, especially away from home at Goodison Park. Yeah, I would have thought Luton would be one of those teams where most of their points would come from home. Kind of like Nottingham Forest last season, but to get an away victory, what a result for them. As for Everton though, well, this is really damaging. After a fantastic result and performance last week at Brentford, to go and lose at home to Luton, this is a game where you should not be losing, and especially in a manner, because it was corner kicks again. I highlighted it like 2 weeks ago against Arsenal. They got done by a corner again, and yet again the corners ruined them. They had a warning. I think Dom Lockyer had a free header from a corner, and then they still didn't deal with it, and then they got concerning thing with Everton is their home form. It is horrible. I believe that is now 4 losses in a row at home. Really, really poor. Again, they did great chances in this game. They couldn't put them away. But that home form absolutely stinks, and you would think Everton, the best way they're going to stay up is by making Goodison Park a fortress, but they're not doing that, and this loss really does ramp up the pressure once again on Sean Dyche, especially with new owners. They might want to change, and yeah, this result is not going to help him at all. Man United 0, Crystal Palace 1. Goals from Joachim Anderson to give Palace a historic victory over at Old Trafford. Now, I'll say from Palace perspective, what a victory, what an absolutely amazing victory. It was almost old school in a way. They sat back, they didn't care about the ball, they had 22% possession, and they just made it tough and hard for them to be beaten. The back four of Derek Mitchell, Joel Ward, Margane Anderson especially were insane. They were putting their bodies on the line, getting stuck in, weren't allowing those attackers to have a sniff every time they got in that box. They were on them like a rash, and defensively it was an absolute masterclass from Roy Hodgson. I mean, they got the goal through an absolute banger, by the way, by Joachim Anderson, especially for a centre-back. I mean, he's been getting on the goals recently. I believe that's 2 now for him this season. But what a victory for Palace, who I was a little bit concerned about going into this season in terms of where the goals are coming from. I am still concerned about that. However, it looks like Hodgson has said, okay, if we're not going to score loads of goals, let's just make ourselves hard to beat and tighten up at the back. And that's exactly what they've done, and it's massive, and they are absolutely flying right now. Alright, as for Man United, the crisis continues. The crisis continues. The nightmare continues in Manchester, and their problems do persist. Now, if I'm talking about this game, I thought one of the only bright spots of this game was Sofian Amrabat. Amrabat was really, really nice in this game. Hoyland, I don't know about this guy, like, for some reason I feel like he's almost too physical, if you get what I mean. Like, he's a big boy and he's impressed me with his physicality, but this guy's always trying to get in some sort of hustle and bustle. It's like, okay, you don't need to, pin your man and try and wrestle with your centre-back every single time. And he had a couple of chances where he maybe could have put them away this game. Bruno and Rashford had an absolute stinker. Mason Mount returned, didn't really do much. But yeah, Bruno and Rashford, really, really poor from them. Rashford has not started his season off well at all, and I know a lot of Man United fans are sort of turning on him and asking for him to be dropped because he has been really, really poor recently. And same with Bruno. The thing is with United, they just, I looked at it, right, the 77% possession, they had all the ball, but they didn't do anything with it. They just couldn't break Palace down. They had a couple chances. I mean, to be fair, they were probably the better side. A loss is a little bit harsh for them, and it was a bit of a wonder goal. Palace didn't really create many chances to threaten Man United, but still, really, really poor from them. And I think what's most concerning about Man United is the home form, because last season Old Trafford was a fortress. Old Trafford was where they picked up most of their points, almost all of their points. However, they've already lost two games at Old Trafford this season now to Palace and Brighton, not even like big clubs. No disrespect to them. So yeah, it's really, really worrying, and big problems at Man United and pressure on Ten Hag, especially if the Champions League game against Galatasaray does not go well. Alright, Newcastle 2, Burnley 0. Goals from Miguel Almiron and Alexander Isak. Now, from a Newcastle perspective, really, really nice, simple job done from them. Ahead of a Champions League tie against PSG, which is going to be absolutely superb. They were the better side, they deserve a victory. Almiron with an absolute banger, by the way. What a goal by him. did. They made it comfortable. It was fairly easy for them. You know, they were under pressure a couple of times, but you could see they were by far and away the better team, and it was really nice from them. As for Burnley, though, well, yeah, not the best. The thing with Burnley is, I feel like I've said it and seen this game a million times already this season. It's just the same issues every single game, which must be really frustrating if you're a Burnley fan. Now, I will put them in the same sort of category as Bournemouth in terms of their performances have actually been pretty good and probably warranted a win so far this season. However, I just think the word to sum up Burnley's season so far is naive. They've just been naive, and every single game, you know, they've been trying to play out from the back and play nice football, which is great, but they've been caught out. For example, in this game, you know, you're at St James's Park, Newcastle, one of the best sides out pressing in the league, and like 14 minutes in, they're trying to play out from the back, and Ramsey loses the ball because he's trying to, you know, be all nonchalant and try and dribble past this guy. You just need to be a bit more smarter in that position and just, you know, recognise that you're going to get pressed high in the Premier League when you're playing a team like this. Maybe don't do that. Loses the ball, they score. Al Dakali, absolute stinker at a second goal, or well, the penalty. Again, ball in the air all the time in the world, just head that to safety, just decides to, I don't know, try and head it to somebody on the right, completely messes up, and then again, naive. No need to try and slide tackle and get that ball, just hold him up and jockey him. Slide tackles and takes out Gordon. It's just the same errors we have seen from Burnley this whole season. Again, they've great chances and stuff like that, but at the back, just really naive, really open, and this caused them problems. But they have had some really tough games, to be fair to them. But yeah, disappointing for them. Good win for Newcastle. Alright, West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. Jared Bowen and Thomas Soucek with the goals. Kind of similar game in a way, that routine win for West Ham. They weren't really under too much pressure, they were much better than Sheffield. They showed their class, and I will say I've been really shocked with how good West Ham have been this season, because this is kind of the game where West Ham, I would have thought last season, would struggle against a team who is just going to sit back and soak up the pressure. Those are the games where West Ham really struggle, and I wanted to see how they do, but they were great. They created a lot of chances. That Jared Bowen goal was incredible, by the way. That was like Man City, the triangles popping it about. It was beautiful football, and Moyes have really got West Ham playing some nice stuff. I'm also really impressed with their midfield. Their midfield has actually got so much better without Declan Rice. Now, I'm not saying, you know, Declan Rice will hold them back or anything, but this midfield of Ward-Prowse, Paquetá and Alvarez with Soucek as well. Incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff by them. And they have Mohamed Kudus as well, who, you know, to be fair, right now isn't even starting and doesn't even deserve to start, because that midfield is playing so well. So West Ham are looking fantastic. Jared Bowen is also looking great, but he is on fire. Sheffield United, though, I mean, it was a lot better than last week. No 8-0 this time, but same thing as Burnley, just the same errors as before, and they get punished again. For the first goal, ball tracking from Luke Thomas. I know you're watching, Luke. Yeah, you were jogging back, didn't track your runner. Second goal, similar thing to Burnley, trying to play out from the back. Gustavo Hemo, who I really like. Stupid pass, gives it away in his own half, and then they get punished, and no one's marking Soucek. Just defensively, I'm so shocked with how bad Sheffield United are this season. I've said it time and time again. I thought they would come in and be a hard team to beat. In reality, they're a really easy team to beat, and you can create so many chances against them because defensively they are an absolute shambles. And yeah, big pressure on Heckingbottom in his job. Alright, Wolves 2, City 1, Ruben Diaz with an own goal, Hwang Hee-chan and Julian Alvarez with the goals. Maybe the shock of the weekend is either this or Palace United, I don't know. But what a win for Wolves. That first goal was absolutely superb play by Pedro Neto to run through the team and then, put it in a dangerous area. Ruben Diaz taps it home. Pedro Neto started the season absolutely on fire. He was great last week as well. I will say that Julian Alvarez, a lovely free kick by him, and to where that was coming, I've seen a couple of his free kicks this season come really, really close, so I never actually knew he was that good at free kicks until this season, but he is fantastic, and that was a nice free kick, but they didn't get the job done. If we're looking from a Wolves perspective, what a win for Gary O'Neill. I think that might be their first win of this season, and it was thoroughly deserved, to be honest. The front three of Hwang, Cunha and Pedro Neto were absolutely fantastic on both ends of the pitch. They came back, they tracked back, and they were hustling. When the ball got into those midfield players, they would be all over them, especially Cunha. They would get that ball, and as soon as they win that ball, they would charge forward with their pace. And I will say Wolves are actually probably one of the best teams on the counter-attack in the league in terms of driving forward. When these three are running at you, it is kind of problems. I mean, when they get to the final third, it kind of dies down, but they are really, really good at counter-attacking. They were superb. And Craig Dawson as well. Wow, what a performance by him. Craig Dawson had Haaland in his back pocket. Absolute monster. And also a nice one for Hwang to score. If you didn't see it, Pep Guardiola before the game was naming Wolves' fantastic players like Neto, Cunha and the Korean guy. Well, he forgot his name, but he knows his name now. Hwang came up with the goal, which was great. And yeah, Wolves continue to be a bit of a bogey side for Man City. As for City, well, an absolute disaster really. I don't think they really deserved to win this game, to be honest. They were not great. I know Wolves only had one shot on target, but Man City really didn't do too much in this game. Erling Haaland, as I said, was in Dawson's pocket. Had like 10 touches of that ball, couldn't get in the game, didn't get any service from his players. Rodri was obviously suspended. Now you could see the difference. There's a huge miss. They tried playing Mateo Kovacic in that role. He was absolutely horrible, kept losing the ball and getting dispossessed by Cunha, which would stop those counter-attacks. Interestingly, I don't know what that says about Calvin Phillips, to be honest. That he still couldn't even start when Rodri wasn't in the team. But Des Nunez got subbed off at half time. It was horrible, to be honest. And yeah, City. Now, I'm not saying they're like a rubbish team, but you could just see they weren't at it in that game, and yeah, things weren't clicking. I'm sure they'll be back to their best soon, but it was a nice win for Wolves, which I don't think many people expected, and a huge win for Gary O'Neill. Okay, so Spurs 2, Liverpool 1, goals from Son, Matip and Cody Gakpo in probably the most controversial game, I want to say, of the season, but there'll probably be more, to be honest. The way the referee in that has gone. Alright, before we get into the whole refereeing and controversy in this game, let's begin just talking about the game in general. I thought Alisson was fantastic for Liverpool. He came up clutch with some huge saves. Absolutely superb. I thought it was encouraging from Liverpool, even though they lost. It was good display from them, considering they had 10 men for most of it, 9 men for a lot of it. They dug in and they sat back, going that low block, and yeah, they were pretty good, to be honest. But it does seem they have a little bit of a discipline problem, as that's another red card, another set of red cards. I believe they've got a red card in almost every game this season. They got one against Bournemouth, they got one against Newcastle. They're getting one in almost every single game, but weirdly, they actually do sometimes look better when they go down to 10 men. regardless of 10 or 11 men, it was a great win to beat Liverpool. A big statement. I thought individually, I thought Vicario pulled off some good saves. I thought Pedro Porro was fantastic, really direct. Desni Adoji was incredible as well. Did fantastic against Mo Salah. I thought it would be a good test for him. We haven't really seen him. I mean, he came up against Saka, but coming against Mo Salah, he was really, really good. And a good display from him. Richarlison, I actually thought on that left hand side looked pretty decent when he was drifting out there. And I don't know, the Spurs were just fantastic, but the only slight caveat I'll say is maybe the low blocks seems to be something they are struggling a little bit with. Like when they played Sheffield United, for example, Sheffield United just sat back and the Spurs had a lot of chances and stuff, but they couldn't put them away, and it was a late comeback. In this game, play up against 10 and 9 men, it can be difficult. I understand that because they literally do just sit back, and Liverpool were not going to try and come at them. But I do feel like Spurs are a lot better in transition when they're given a bit more space than a low block, but that is natural because Ange hasn't come, he hasn't been here for a long time, and that's going to take a lot of time for that to develop. But I think that's maybe the only weakness I'm seeing right now in the Spurs side, but apart from that, great win. Alright, now let's get into the controversy. So, let's start here. Curtis Jones red card. So Curtis Jones got a red card, and for me, I think it's one of those where if this was 10 years ago, that's a yellow. However, in the modern day, given the rules, I think it's a red. I think it's very similar to Malo Gusto against Aston Villa last week. He got the ball just about, but then he's come over the top and, hitting the guy. Was if he'll make it look so much worse on the replays. However, in the modern day, I feel like any tackle that is above the ankle, with your studs as well, is an automatic red. Nowadays, I don't really agree with that because I do feel like if you do get the ball, then maybe it shouldn't. But look, I understand that one. I understand why people would think it's not a red, but for me, I think it's a red. And then we get into actually we'll stick with the reds. Right, Diego Jota, red card in the 69th minute. For me, the first yellow was harsh. But they should have no complaints, and in fact Liverpool should be more angry at Jota than necessarily the referee for this one, because it's idiocy from Jota. He gets booked on the 60th minute. I think the first yellow was harsh, but oh well. And 1 minute later, he loses the ball and he's lunging him from behind. Basically the same thing he's doing to Adoji. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You've literally just been booked. So pure idiocy from Diego Jota. Absolutely stupid from him. Can't really have many complaints about that one. And then we get into the disallowed goal. So Luis Diaz's really nice goal went away. Gets disallowed for offside. Now when I was watching him in real time, I thought that looked pretty on to me. I thought, that's pretty tight. But I looked at replay and I didn't actually see Romero's foot. So I thought, that's really tight. I think he's offside though. And I looked at it again, I see Romero's foot, and I'm like, this guy's way onside, it's getting awarded. And then for some reason they don't award it. Absolute disgrace. That is an absolute disgrace. For once I'm going to back Liverpool's corner here. It's an absolute joke. Because how have you gone offside wrong? Offside is one of those where it's black and white. You're either onside or you're offside. It's not like a penalty or a red card where it's subjective. There's no subjectivity, or there shouldn't be, about offside. You're offside or you're onside. So how have they got this wrong? It doesn't make any sense. Apparently, from what I've heard, is that essentially there was a lack of communication where when he was drawing the line, he said like check complete to the referee. If that's happened, alright, fine, I guess you can have a human error like that, but there's an assistant VAR once he said that, you know, stop the game. But actually, no, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. You have to stop the game again and award the goal, because that is so much better than waiting until after the game and then issuing an apology and a statement. Because what is an apology going to do? Honestly, what is an apology going to do? Credit for admitting your mistakes, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, because that's completely changed the course of the game. Because it was at 0-0. If Liverpool score that goal and they go 1-0 up, this game could potentially be a lot different. A lot different. So they've completely changed the course of the game. They've ruled out a goal which is onside. I don't even blame the referee as much. I blame the VAR guy. The VAR guy is more at fault because a referee, you know, he's just seen the linesman flag offside and he's heard from the VAR guy, oh, it's a fine, so yeah, play on. Why is the VAR guy, you know, the VAR guy is at fault more than the referee here? But look, it's an absolute joke, and the referee, this is a new low for refereeing in this league. Honestly, something needs to happen. Like, generally, something needs to happen drastically, because the referee this season, especially, the standard has been abysmal. It's been the worst refereeing I've ever seen in a season this year, and we are only 7 games in. 7 games in, and there's probably been about 20 blatant errors and statements and apologies from the VAR guys. Something needs to happen. These referees needs to be changed. There needs to be punishments to these referees. I don't know what it is, but something needs to give, because this is not right, and they are genuinely changing the course of matches, and it's stupid. Alright, sticking with VAR, the final game we're going to look at is another VAR controversy. Nottingham Forest 1, Brentford 1, Nicholas Dominguez and Christian Norgard with the goals, and Musa Niakate got sent off. Alright, now, I will say Nicholas Dominguez, that was a nice header, by the way. Really nice looping header, but I thought Mark Fleck, and I don't know what he was doing. I think he thought it was going over the bar, so he just left it, but there was a host of VAR stuff in this game yet again, which they got wrong in my opinion, and they were blatant as well. So, first off, there was a handball appeal. So Nicholas Dominguez jumps up for a header, I believe with Janald Norgard, and his hand is literally above his head, and it hits his hand, and they didn't give the pen. The reason they didn't give the pen is because they said, oh, proximity. That is the most ludicrous thing I have ever seen, because firstly, of course there's proximity, like, you're going up for a header between someone, so does that mean if I go up for a header with someone and I just punch the ball, I could say, oh, proximity, you know, like, that doesn't make any sense. Of course I'm going to be close to the guy. Like, I thought the whole point of a handball is if your hand is in a completely unnatural position, regardless of if it is close to you or not, if your hand is somewhere where it shouldn't be, then that should be a handball. Not that, oh, if it's close, but your hand's in a bad position, you know, we'll let it slide. No, Dominguez's hand is above his head. Like, who jumps with their hand above their head? That's not a natural thing to do. And it's his hand, while his hand is above his head, that should be a penalty. And then after that, Brentford should have got another penalty in my opinion, because Matt Turner has had a bit of a mare this game, and he got caught out. Young Wizard nicks the ball from him, and then when Wizard gets the ball, Matt Turner, he's trying to kick the ball away, kicks Johan Wieser and takes him down. And if he didn't kick him, Wieser would have been on his feet, had an open goal to score. Yet Turner has, to be honest, that should be a red card. That's a denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity. Wieser has taken the ball from him, he has an open goal, and Turner has kicked him and taken him out, causing him to fall to the ground. Visa is going to score. Yeah, they didn't even give a pen. That should probably be a red. They didn't even give a pen. It's absolute stupidity. It's absolute stupidity. From these refs, man. Yeah, Brentford have kind of been robbed in this game as well. Liverpool have been robbed. It's another VAR disaster class in the Prem, as always. But yeah, it's another week in the Prem, isn't it? Let's have a little look then at the Premier League table before we go. Man City top of the league. Spurs, then Arsenal, then Liverpool, Villa in 5th, Brighton, West Ham, Newcastle. I'll say these 4 teams I've really been impressed with them. Fantastic from them. Man United in 10th. Chelsea down there in 15th. Hopefully that changes to a 8 by the time you're watching this. And in the bottom we have Sheffield United, Burnley and Bournemouth. All 3 teams yet to win a game. But there we go. That is the Game Week 7 review. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. And if you have, please leave a like. Consider subscribing. And I'll see you in another